Welcome to a quick and dirty history of why we're celebrating the release of Kiss's debut album today on February the 8th. So, as not to trigger some fans, or maybe just to simply annoy, it's useful to explain that several release dates have been attributed to this majestic release over the years. Does it matter a damn? Ultimately, not one bit. The album was released, and that's all that matters. But the album is important, for the songs it contains were performed in December 2023 during Kiss's final show, For What That's Worth. Ace Frehley also performed two of the album's songs just last week. The one he wrote, and the other one was the very first song he performed during his Kiss audition in December 1972. But this monologue isn't about sales, payola, or crapola, or whatever. It's all about those dates. And I promise not to turn this into an hour-long sidebar. First, let's talk about the wrong date. Does it matter where it originated? Probably not. Does a difference of 10 days between February the 8th or February the 18th or January the 25th or whatever matter? No, it doesn't. Hell, February the 18th, 1974 was a pretty cool day in history. It was the day of the West Coast Press Party celebrating the opening of Casablanca's offices in California following the migration from Neil Bogart's penthouse suite in New York City. Neil hired Jules Fisher and Associates to transform the Century Plaza Ballroom into the Casablanca film set. Guests abounded, journalists gaggled, and Alice Cooper dropped the legendary lines about bands needing gimmicks. Oh, and Kiss performed a short set that night, torturing many with bludgeoning volume. So it was a good day, either way. Rick Alibert, vice president for promotions at Aucoin Management, perpetuated the date as February the 18th when he was responding to an Australian affiliate's question about the original release dates of Kiss albums. In that 1981 telex, he clearly notes February the 18th. Whether the date came from that telex or from other sources, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. I know the FAQ got it wrong at one point too, as do many others. Again, does it really matter whether it's celebrated today or in 10 days? It's going to be celebrated all month. What the hell? Every day is Kiss Day. I guess since I'm making this video, it does kind of matter. Okay. So let's go back to December 1973, following the completion of mixing of the first album sessions. Test pressings, well, they're pressed. On one accompanying data sheet, it notes the release date of January the 25th. Oh, bugger. There's the screaming in the woods again from that silent voice who feels a disturbance in the force. Sorry, dead guy. But we kind of know that that date didn't happen since records were being furiously pressed to get them in the hands of the Canadian press in time for the first proper tour. The band departed for the Great White North on February the 3rd. So I guess we're getting warmer, or colder in that case. So why February the 8th? Here's the February the 9th issue of Record World, a trade magazine. It's a contemporary source and lists February the 8th. All right, that's one good piece of evidence in the right direction, but it is not conclusive. So let's jump forward to one of the most important moments in history. The trademarking of the makeup designs. It was a drawn-out process that built on the steep learning curve from trying to trademark the Kiss logo. The trademarks for the original Kiss makeup designs were granted in late 1979, early 1980. Just as example, here's Gene's certificate. Note the first use and first use in commerce dates. They're key. Okay, earlier, and even more importantly, the highly identified Kiss logo. It has, on the application, the same first use dates, but let's also remember that trademarking is a legal process. When Kiss's lawyers first filed for a registered trademark protection for the logo on June the 17th, 1974, they submitted their evidence for use as 5 album covers, a logo example, and also a trade ad. That initial application was rejected in December 1974, and the process meant that it wasn't until 1977 that the trademark was finally granted. There's a bunch of reasons for that. It makes for interesting reading if you suffer from insomnia. But let's get back to February the 8th. Bill Aucoin signed a notarized declaration to the truth of the first use date. There was no other product by Kiss being used in interstate commerce bearing the Kiss logo other than the LP as of that date. Everything else, in terms of merchandise and product, was yet to come. There is only the album that was available for sale on that date. So whether you celebrate today, tomorrow, next week, this year, last month, whatever, as long as you celebrate, you're part of the eternal rock and roll party. Now back to the show. Onwards and upwards.